There are many hidden forces that keep our world functioning properly without us even knowing it. From gravity to magnetic fields, we don't really think about the things that keep our Earth from utter disaster. If this is your first time visiting us, be sure to click that red subscribe button. Today we are discussing what would happen if the world stopped spinning. Everything would launch sideways. The Earth's spin creates gravity, which keeps everything on Earth from flying into space. Now, we wouldn't exactly blast off into space if the world stopped spinning, but there would be some damaging side effects. If the world stopped spinning, almost immediately, everything, including humans, would launch sideways at nearly 1,000 miles per hour. This is because the Earth would still be rotating around the Sun, and there would be tremendous winds as we continue our journey without the Earth's rotation. The good news is this will have the biggest impact around the equator and would reduce the further away you get. Major tsunamis. The same force that causes everything else to fly sideways at nearly 1,000 miles an hour would also affect the oceans. If the world stopped spinning, there would be major devastation from tsunamis. The tsunamis are caused by the lack of gravity at the Earth's equator, which makes the oceans gather and move towards the poles. As the oceans move towards the poles, they would change the whole structure of the planet, as well as causing major structural damage to anything in their path. Everything would die. It isn't a surprise that this new world would cause massive devastation. If you are lucky to survive the flooding, tsunamis, and the crazy wind speeds, you may not be in the clear just yet. The biggest change our planet would face is at the equator. With the vast majority of our plants, animals, and people located closer to the equators than the poles, the Earth no longer spinning could mean the end of life itself. The winds would cause mass erosion of anything in their path. There would be no more water to support life, and even if there were, the blistering heat would cause massive droughts. This doesn't even bring into account the fact that we could possibly be hit by a solar flare at any moment and wouldn't be protected by the Earth's magnetic field. It's a safe bet that the end of the Earth spinning would be the end of the world altogether. Days would last longer. The days as we know it now rely on the spinning of the Earth. It takes the Earth roughly 24 hours to spin on its axis and give us one full day. If the Earth stopped spinning, it would actually take a whole year for the Earth to make one full rotation on its axis. That means one day would actually take 365 days to complete. There would be 6 months of straight blistering sunshine and 6 months straight of shivering nights. This would also have an effect on our seasons as they wouldn't have smooth transitions into one another. This would wreak havoc on vegetation and anyone unfortunate enough to survive the initial shock. The globe would become a sphere. Though it may seem minor to all the catastrophes on the list, if the world stopped spinning, the Earth would become a perfect sphere shape. Many think the Earth is round in shape, but that isn't exactly true. There is a slight bulge at the equator, which makes it more of the shape of a flattened ball. There is actually more to be concerned about than just the shape of the Earth. Because of the bulge at the equator, there is more ocean water being held, and if the Earth stopped spinning, the bulge would flatten out and cause the ocean water to expand and flood surrounding areas. One giant continent. So if you are thinking you are just going to live safely on the poles away from the crazy winds at the equator, you may be surprised to learn they won't be habitable. One of the craziest things that would happen if the world stopped spinning is the fact that one large supercontinent would form. As we've learned earlier, the lack of gravity will cause the oceans to migrate to the pole. This would cause major flooding of the North and South Poles, and the world would be left with two huge oceans. Because of this, all the oceans will be gone from the equator, and we will be left with one belt-like landmass around the world. The globe would no longer be tilted. The tilt of our planet may not seem like a big deal, but you may be surprised to learn that it actually plays a part in our seasons. The Earth's tilt is defined by how the planet is rotating compared to our sun. Now, if the world stopped rotating, then the fact it is tilted would no longer serve a purpose. This means light would hit most directly at the Earth's equator, and the four seasons as we know them would disappear. This would make it nearly impossible to harvest food, and it would throw off the natural cycle of wildlife around the planet. No more magnetic fields. There are many unseen forces that protect us every day, and we don't even know about it. If the Earth were ever to stop rotating, it has the possibility to take out one of our greatest defense systems. Scientists aren't sure, but they assume it would be safe to say that the Earth's magnetic field would vanish. The Earth's magnetic field is one of our biggest defenses against solar flares and radiation caused by the sun. If the magnetic field were to suddenly vanish, we would be vulnerable to anything the sun threw at us. Pretty scary, right? Let's take care of our Earth and appreciate all it does for us. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it informative, and why not check out these other amazing videos while you're here. Thank you for watching.